welcome to the next episode of Decants with D. I am Dietmar Ostermann. I'm your host this afternoon, and I'm the regular guy from Long Island. After several episodes of Cabernet Sauvignon and Napa Valley, we are back in Europe, and specifically France, Bordeaux region, the world's most famous wine region. In a previous Bordeaux region description, I introduced you to the lovely Bordeaux wines. And you will recall that typically a Bordeaux wine is a blend, and typically it's a blend heavily relying on Cabernet Sauvignon on the left bank and Merlot on the right bank. And you will also remember that there are on the left bank, which is what we want to concentrate on today, some beautiful, incredible, very, very famous villages, or in the wine world, those sub-wine regions are called AOCs. The most famous of which is probably Pauillac. But almost equally famous is Margaux. Then you have St. Estephe, Haut-Bages, St. Julien, to name a few of the most famous of the Left Bank Bordeauxs. The Bordeauxs were classified in the Medoc region on the left bank in 1855 when they were getting ready for the big Paris show, and they wanted to introduce to the world the best of the Bordeaux wines. The first growth are only 5 wines, the world's most famous, including Mouton Rothschild, Lafite Rothschild, Chateau Margaux, and a few others. And then there's a second growth where there's about 20 wines in, a third growth, a fourth growth, and a fifth growth. In totality, we are talking some 60, 65 or so chateaus that were qualified as some of the best in Bordeaux. And we want to taste here with you today 3 of those classified wines. I focus on the 5th growth because they are a lot more affordable. Let's start on the left bank. A special favorite of mine, the Chateau Haut-Bages Liberal. Now this is from the world's most famous AOC called Pauillac. Let's get this baby open first. And what we are focusing on are the acclaimed 2018s of Bordeaux. In my previous Bordeaux video, I gave you an outlook and I said, watch out for 2016 and 2018. Because those were fantastic years in Bordeaux. The entire vintage of 2018 was rated 96 points by Wine Spectator, and the entire vintage of 2016 was rated 97 points by Wine Spectator. So 2016 are already rarely available in wine stores. But the wine stores are full of 2018, and that is why we are tasting this afternoon 2018, so you can consider maybe going to your local Total Wine store and buying a few French Bordeaux 2018 from the left bank, from the AOCs of Pauillac, St. Estephe, or Margaux. That, ladies and gentlemen, I have here with me in this show, as in every show, my best friend on the show, my partner for over 100 shows, Cocky the Cockao. Okay, let's check out this first wine, the Chateau Haut-Bages Liberal. The color, deep, dark, ruby red, as you would expect from a classic French Bordeaux. Not see-through at all, plum, dark, ruby color. Lines in the glass are pronounced, indicating high alcohol content, and in fact, the Haut-Bages Liberal is 14.5% alcohol. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. Blackberry in the nose, some plum, dark plum, blackcurrant, some black cherry as well in the nose. Secondary flavors of maybe tobacco, a little bit of minerality, maybe some cedarwood. Let's give it a whirl. Clearly, 2018 is young. The wine would be better if I would have decanted it for about half an hour to an hour. Right now, there's some intense acidity on the palate compared with the alcohol and the fruitiness. It is good in balance. The fruitiness clearly pronounced blackberry, pronounced blackcurrant flavors, more flavors of plum. The minerality is clearly there. I detected it already in the nose. It is there on the taste. The finish is medium plus, not quite as long as I would wanted it to. And the wine is still uptight, which tells you it will be lasting for at least another 10, 15, maybe even 20 years. So I like this wine. I give it a 4.2. 4.1 on average by Vivino, so I'm a notch above that. It costs about $50 in Europe, or the equivalent of that in euros. It's about $63 in the US right now on Vivino. And this wine, this Haut-Bages, has a little bit more Merlot in it than Cabernet Sauvignon. Wine number 2, Phelan Segur, a stalwart in my collection, a wine that many people know and see in stores all the time. This one comes from the AOC St. Estephe, not Pauillac, not Margaux, but the third very famous AOC St. Estephe. The cook owl is hungry and ready. Cook owl. All right. Let's check out the Phelan Segur. 4.0 rated on Vivino, 93 points on Wine Spectator. It sells for about $53 in Europe. I saw it on Vivino here in New York at $79. Dark ruby red color, a hint lighter than the Liberal. Heavy lines in the glass indicating high alcohol content, and in fact we have again a high alcohol wine, 14% alcohol. Sniffy sniff. More red fruit in the nose than in the previous wine. Dark blackcurrant, blackberry, but also lots of raspberry. Charcoal as a secondary note. A little bit of bay notes. Let's give it a whirl. High acidity, medium plus tannins. The bay notes and the charcoal are intense on the palate. The fruit, the blackberry, the blackcurrant, the raspberry, a little bit more in the background. The finish is shorter. Overall, not as excited about this wine as I was about the Chateau Haut-Bages Liberal. I give it a 3.9. That brings us to contender number 3, Chateau du Tertre, a favorite of mine from the AOC Margaux. I had on my show before, but at that time we tasted a 2015. This is now the 2018 Chateau du Tertre. Wine Spectator rated 94. Overall on Vivino currently 3.9. Pops right out. And who is waiting? Corky. What do we see? Ooh. Oh, dark, dark. Ruby red. Not see-through. Just a tiny little bit. So not as solid of a composition as the Chateau Haut-Bages Liberal, but the color is almost a little bit of a hint to garnet. It's ruby, but a little bit of a hint to garnet. Strong line in the glass indicating high alcohol and sugar content, indeed at 14.5% alcohol. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. The aromas are not as pronounced. A little bit more in the back. I smell some plum, almost like plum sauce. Cassis. A little bit of red fruit as well, raspberry. Some secondary flavors, sandalwood. Let's give it a whirl. There is a good balance between the alcohol, the acidity, and the tannins. They keep each other in check. The fruit is about to explode. I'd say give it another year and two. Give it an hour to decant, and the fruit will be best. Plum sauce, cassis, raspberry, sandalwood, a little bit of minerality is in here, but it's a silky texture. Overall, ladies and gentlemen, that's my favorite. The Chateau du Tertre is my buy recommendation. This one you can get at Vivino in the United States for $60. I think in Europe it sells for around the equivalent of $50. I give this a 4.4. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, if you buy these right now, you rush to your Total Wine, get a few bottles, and you put those away for another 3 to 5 years, this wine will get better and better and better. So in closing, Chateau, Bordeauxs, Left Bank, more Cabernet based, 2018, great year. Buy some, drink a bottle to just check them out, but then put them away for another 2-3 years and you will not be disappointed. I also think that you can actually make a bargain if you buy the first, second, third gross wines and then keep them for a few years and sell them 5 years from now. That's what I did here. So I have these wines placed here. For instance, the Chateau Cattenac Brown, third gross, or right here the Chateau Segur. These are wines that are even higher rated in Wine Spectator for the 2018 years. You can buy them for less than $100 and sell them in a few years for $200. That's it for the show today. Enjoy the upcoming holidays, and I see you, as always, every Sunday.